Good afternoon, Bharat. This is speaking with you, and I really appreciate your time. And I just wanted to have this dialogue with you regarding, your background. You have extensive background in like, let's say, 2 decades worth of experience in the technology industry with IBM and Asia Institute of Management. And right now you are full-time faculty with the Art of Living Foundation. And I know you have conducted many sessions on corporate programs all over, just helping management team leaders to excel in their field of leadership and how to become inspirational leaders. So from that angle, in Nepal, we have introduced this program for over 2.5 years, and it has been well received. We have been doing trainings for over 85 institutions. And some of the same questions that come across is with leadership and management, how can we be more effective? How can we inspire our employees and have them have that sense of belonging to the institution, over the long haul. And also for them to really be happy wherever they are coming to work. So coming from that space, I really would like to pose a few questions to you today. And
sure.
So one of the question is, what is the key difference between management and leadership in your definition?
See, leadership is more to do with people, right? When you say management, you say you manage resources, you manage finance, you manage production, you manage materials. But when you deal with people, that's when leadership comes in, right? So in MBA schools, they teach us a lot about all kind of functions: operations management, marketing management, financial management, and human resource management is only one of the many subjects. So leadership is really to do about managing, working with people. Management is, I would say, is managing other things.
Excellent. Very nice. Wonderful. So my other question would be, again, main virtues of an inspirational leader. Yeah. What are some of the key components of an inspirational leader?
Yeah. So there are 3 key points when it comes to inspirational leadership, right? To inspire people, you yourself have to be clear about where you're going, right? So if you're not clear about where you're going, how can you tell others? The others want to join you because they want to go somewhere, they want to achieve something. So the first thing is having clarity on vision. Where you are going, where are you going individually? Where is your organization going? Where is your team going, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is having an inspirational presence. That means you've got to have a sense of belonging, a sense of connection with people. The second thing is you have to be centered and calm. Nobody likes a stressed person, right? So you have to have that calmness of mind, and people like people who are calm, right? And the third aspect is, see, inspirational. Ultimately, when you inspire people towards a goal, it needs action, right? So the third aspect is your ability to execute. And for that, there are 2 important things. One is you need to be stress free, right? If you're stressed, your ability to execute is not very good. And the second aspect is you've got to be able to manage and deal with all kinds of people, right? And also, I won't say play politics, but know how to handle politics. So these are the aspects of an inspirational leader.
Thank you. That's great. Now, during this lockdown situation in India and Nepal, we're faced with a lot of management team having to work from home and direct their employees to work from home. And like when we are doing some of these trainings, we hear that it's very difficult to manage their time and manage their mind because there's so much distraction from the news that's coming up and then the home environment, all of that. So how would you, advise for leaders? What kind of inspirational advice could they give or on the day-to-day basis? And also another question I want to add to this is, generally, we all say, do not react to situations, to our teams, right? it's better to respond. So if you put these two questions together, respond versus react, and then also how do you manage your time while we are in this situation, uncertain times?
Yeah. There is a simple definition of stress, a very simple way to understand stress. That is, if you have too much work, but too little energy and too little time, right? So that is stress. So the issue that has to be handled is stress. If we are not stressed, we can do more work. So now there are two ways to handle this. One is if you have, say, energy, a certain amount of energy, let's say 100, right? Then you got to manage your workload to that 100, right? And if you're able to do that, then there is no stress. And all the time management techniques, whether it is prioritization or whether it is categorization or delegation, assumes that you have a defined energy level and it's trying to adjust your workload so that it stays within your energy level. But time management techniques have limitations, because if you look at it today, the workload is only increasing, and also the workload is becoming more unpredictable, right? Now, there's another approach. The second approach is to increase your energy levels, right? So through practices which are taught in the Art of Living corporate programs, we teach techniques to increase energy level from day to day, from week to week, from year to year. And as you do that, you're able to take on more and more workload and grow into leadership positions, and your capability to execute keeps increasing. Right. And when it comes to response versus reaction, I would say intellectually it's we can understand this, but it doesn't come into reality so easily. Of course, I mean, if we are able to respond rather than react, I think most of our problems will be solved. But when certain situation comes in front of us, automatically we react to it. So the way out of this is really using our breath, and using breath tools. You cannot directly manage the mind at the level of the mind, right? So the mind is like a kite. So what do you use to manage a kite? You need a thread, right? Similarly, to manage your mind, you need the breath. And once you're able to do that, you'll see that you're able to respond better rather than react. Yeah.
So would you say then, coming back to inspirational leadership, that the inspirational leader walks the talk first of all? Is that what you're trying to say, before he can impart this to his employees, to his subordinates? And also, an inspirational leader, when he is around, then there's more sustainable transformation in the individual that he's managing.
Yeah. So the inspirational leader is natural, right? So he's authentic. So as the leader is natural and authentic, he automatically walks the talk, right? He automatically has a sense of belonging with people. He automatically cares, right? So what makes a leader is that the first requirement of a leader is a leader needs to care, right? A leader needs to care about other people. A leader needs to care about what's happening in the environment. So in other words, if I use care, I would say it is responsibility. The leader needs to take responsibility. So we look at leadership really as a verb rather than as a position. So an inspirational leader needs to care and take responsibility.
So we've heard a lot that it's not just enough to be an inspiring leader. We also need to learn to create a conducive environment for our employees. Yeah. So when we say that, what is included in a conducive environment?
Yeah.
Congenial, conducive environment.
See, what is true for us is true for other people. So when we walk into a workplace, what do we want as people? We want to be treated well. We spend 50% of our time in an office. So we want to have human to human connections with people. We want a friendly atmosphere. We want to add value, right, to what we do. We want to feel useful, right? So an environment which makes all of this happen is a conducive environment.
So with the Art of Living corporate programs, you've been teaching quite a few to many institutions, big and small. What are some of the outcomes or feedbacks you've received from institutions who have taken the three-tiered approach that we have for leadership, for management team, and for line staff? What are some of the feedbacks? How has it worked successfully in the institutions?
Yeah.
And why the corporate programs of the Art of Living for institutions?
So we have done, our corporate programs are now globally accepted. We have done mindful leadership programs for Microsoft. We have done programs all across Asia Pacific for Google. We do regular programs for the World Bank. And we have done programs for Toyota Kirloskar Motors, which makes Toyota cars in India. And we have done programs across all levels. At the worker level, what we have seen is the aggression of employees reduces. So they become a human resources manager, and plant managers find it far more easier to kind of speak with these people, collaborate, and give direction to them. So we have done a lot of programs, worker programs for Bosch and Toyota in India, also Honda. We've done a lot of programs for them. At the middle management level, what we see is there is people take more responsibility and empowerment, right? Else they used to just wait for things to be assigned to them. But after our programs, they actually take more interest and they empower themselves and contribute much more. At the leadership level, we have seen that there's more clarity of perception, right? And an increased sense of belongingness that the leaders themselves has. In fact, at the top leadership levels, what people really like is the meditation in our programs, right? So they want to be stress-free. They're so much overworked that our techniques is what they find the most useful.
So what you're saying is that if I had to pick out 3 competitive edge of the Art of Living corporate program versus many other such training programs for institutions, what would those be, the 3 takeaways from this program?
So, our program is not only about the what, but also about the how, right? So we have very, very senior people, BCG partners, JP Morgan, CEOs, so many top leaders who benefit from our programs. So all other programs tend to focus more on the what they need to do, but they don't really dwell too much on the how. Our programs are very practical. We back the what with the how.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate, and I'm sure many can get this helpful tips from what you have explained and shared in this session. Thank you, Bharatji.
Yeah, most welcome.